Hello everybody, let's do another set of expressions, shall we? Okay, if you hear, I haven't got a clue, it means I don't know, I have no idea. Examples. Lionel just hasn't got a clue how to talk to girls. I haven't a clue what I'll give John for his birthday next week. Don't ask your father which key to press. He hasn't got a clue about computers. Trump speaks so indistinctly that I often haven't got a clue what he's saying. And I think he hasn't a clue either. Okay, next. A weirdo is a strange person, a strange bird. A creep, someone unpleasantly strange or eccentric. Examples. My God, she's going out with a real weirdo. You should see him. Oh. My neighbor's a real weirdo. He always wears very strange clothes and talks to himself. When I travel, I always seem to end up sitting next to some weirdo. Every time, I swear. But then remember, birds of a feather flock together. People think he's a weirdo, but he's really a nice guy. Next, one of my favorites, riff-raff. Riff-raff is used to describe disreputable people of low social position, the dregs of society. For a person who is not educated, who is rude and rough and has low social status, you can also use the term peasant or boor or barbarian, brute, caveman, loudmouth, vulgarian, buffoon, and so on. Examples. You hang around with a riffraff like Lionel Weasley and it'll rub off on you. Hi Lionel, I love you. Those who can afford expensive private schools often don't want to see them filled with middle-class riffraff. The reason I bought these seats in the front row is I don't want to be bothered with the general riffraff. My boyfriend works as a bouncer, a doorman, at an exclusive nightclub. His job is to keep the riffraff out. So, sorry, Gaynor, I don't think they'll let you in. If you're into very good music and fashion, this is the bar to be in. Full of cool dudes with no riffraff in checked shirts, black pants, and shiny shoes. Me at the beginning of the school year when I first meet my students. Who let all this riffraff into the classroom? Our math teacher was a bully and a complete barbarian. Oh, come on, don't be such a boor. I'm a bit of a boor, so I hope you won't mind if I speak bluntly. His father was a drunken brute. The dog was an ugly brute, answering to the name of Spike. God, your dog is an ugly brute, isn't it? You've forgotten my birthday again, you brute. Only a vulgarian talks ceaselessly about how much this or that cost him. Because Jake is a loud buffoon when he drinks at parties, he often ends up talking to himself. I wonder when my 30-year-old son will stop acting like a buffoon and begin to take life seriously, really. In the cafeteria, the popular girls always sit far away from the people they consider to be the school dregs. Next, stop bothering me. Stop disturbing me. Stop harassing me. Stop irritating me. Stop aggravating me. You're getting on my nerves. The noise from the apartment upstairs was beginning to get on my bloody nerves. Ooh, that music is starting to get on my nerves. Nick's whining is really starting to get on my nerves. Lewis, your questions start getting on my nerves, you hear me? Don't aggravate me, Lewis. Next, to bother can have different meanings. First meaning, to bother is to take the trouble to do something. Examples. Why bother asking if you're not really interested? Oh, he doesn't bother much about his appearance. I don't know why I bother. Nobody ever listens. Come on, class, listen to me. Would it bother you if I smoked? Oh, come on, I don't have time to bother with trifles. I'm too busy to bother with such details. The more you learn, the more you know. The more you know, the more you forget. The more you forget, the less you know. So why bother to learn, really? He didn't even bother to let me know he was coming. Shall I order a taxi? No, don't bother. I'll walk. To bother is also to disturb, especially by minor irritations. To make nervous. To make confused. Examples. He didn't bother her with the details. Stop bothering me with your stupid questions. Is something bothering you? What's bothering you? Tell me. The thing that bothers me is blah, 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 blah. That sprained ankle is still bothering her. It's still hurting her. Okay, to bother also means to intrude, to enter uninvited. Examples. Sorry, I hate to bother you, but can I ask you a question? I'm sorry to bother you, but could you tell me the way to the station, please? Sorry to bother you, but there is a call for you on line 2. Now, this idiom. I should really do some work this weekend, but I can't be bothered. Also, bother, my watch is broken. Bother, I've left my wallet at home. Sorry. Oh, bother him. He's never around when you need him. bother the flies. Next, Mr. Knowitall is a guy that has an exaggerated self-opinion. He's cheeky, conceited, insolent, on an ego trip, pompous, presumptuous, pretentious, stuck up, arrogant, swollen-headed. He's a smart aleck, a big mouth, a bragger, and so many more. And I think nothing can illustrate this better than a small excerpt from Fish Called Wanda by John Cleese, my favorite actor ever.
All right. Otto! Now, apologize. Otto! What? Apologize. Shit. Are you totally deranged? You pompous, stuck-up, snot-nosed, English, giant, twerp, scumbag, fuckface, dickhead, asshole. How very interesting.
A Fish Called Wanda. You've got to see that movie. It's brilliant. Next, when you and your friend cannot decide whether to go to see a film or go to a play, then you can flip a coin. I missed it. Heads, we go to the cinema. Tails, we go and see a play. Heads or tails? Heads. Next. Where is Massimo Del Zilio again? He's playing truant again, ma'am. To play truant is to stay away from school without permission. This is what you use in French. Il brosse les cours. Examples. So, Massimo was caught playing truant, and he has been given extra homework for a whole month. Serves him right. My sister often played truant and wrote her own sick notes. Most parents are horrified when they discover their children have been playing truant from school. She was always getting into trouble over playing truant from school. Next, the last straw is the last in the series of unpleasant events that finally makes you feel that you can't continue to accept a bad situation. Examples. He had broken his promise again, and that was the last straw. Le pompon in French. Susie lying to me about the money was the last straw. It made me decide never to talk to her again. But this won't be the last straw. They won't get rid of me that easy. She's always been rude to me, but it was the last straw when she started insulting my brother. Ooh. God, yesterday was a disaster. It was a nightmare. I had an accident on the way to work. My students were absolutely horrible to me. My boss was in a bad mood. So were my colleagues, by the way. And on top of all this, I lost one of my front teeth. It when I got home to find out my mother-in-law was going to spend the weekend with us. That was the last straw. You broke a lot of rules and we tried to ignore it. But stealing money from us was the last straw that broke the camel's back. We are sending you home to your parents. Okay, next. I can't help it, or I couldn't help it, is an expression used to say that it is impossible to prevent or avoid something. Examples. She burst out laughing. She couldn't help herself, meaning she couldn't stop herself from laughing. The situation was too funny. I know I shouldn't eat sweets when I'm stressed, but I just can't help it. I can't help it. Too good. Louis, I can't help loving you, even though you're a pain in the neck. I just can't help teasing my students. Sorry. I can't help thinking he knows more than he has told us. I always end up having an argument with her. I don't know why. I just can't help it. I couldn't help but wonder what she was thinking. Well, that's it, folks, for today. Hope you enjoyed the lesson, and I'll see you very soon. Bye. Take care for now. Bye-bye. Your dog's in the... Okay, let's try again. Let's flip a coin. Heads or tails?